What's up, everybody? It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast on Tuesday night. Tonight, I got to tell you, it's 5 o'clock Pacific, too, because we got Angel Carro coming and joining us tonight. You see his Brooklyn hat, but he comes to us by way of, is it Tacoma? I saw University Place. You claim University Place or you claim Tacoma?
It's the same. We're right on the border of
suburb,
Tacoma.
okay. Nice.
I'm actually not from Washington. I'm from Brooklyn. We moved out here a few years ago. So I was born and raised in Brooklyn, actually.
Nice. So we got to get to how you ended up from Brooklyn to Tacoma, Washington. So tonight on the show, we're going to talk about the past of the hobby, the present, and the future. Angel's been at this over 20 years. And, a lot's changed in everyday life in 20 years, not to mention just the ball python hobby. And then we got to talk a little bit about the scams going on out in our world and then some show etiquette. And, of course, if y'all are in the room tonight watching, I see you all out there. Thank you so much for coming back. Chuck and Anna, thank you. John, I see you. Mark, you're out there. Phil, I saw you showing up tonight. Tradesman Exotics, another Jacksonville friend here and there. Primal Scales, if y'all haven't checked out Primal Scales Instagram, please do. So thank you is what I'm trying to say. And BPL, I'll be on BPL's show before too long. You keep an eye on his channel. He's got cool things coming. I will not spoil that, I promise. Otherwise, why don't we hit the music and start this show, John? You're not John. You're Angel. I'm looking at the names. Angel, you ready to hit this show, man?
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Well, in case you ever think this is rehearsed or taped or double takes, my apologies, Angel. I called you John looking at Inqueline. Inqueline is his real name is John. So welcome to the show. Tell us about yourself. How'd you get from Brooklyn to Tacoma? Tell us about the background of the ball pythons. What do you got going on?
So it's a long story, but I would actually like to go back to you, talk about the scams. I want to talk about that first, if we can.
Yeah, man. So some of y'all might have seen on my social media today, and I got so, I try and watch my mouth on the show, but I'll tell you, I just got pissed. And it kind of hit home today. Like, scams are nothing new. Everybody knows that they're out there. Everybody knows we got to be aware of it. And so what happened is this guy is pitching a lavender female. Cool, I'm into it. If you get, if it's at a good price, a healthy animal, I got a place to quarantine and I got a little cash, that's fine. And so I say, I'll check it out this weekend. And he says, hey, just put a little deposit down. I'll hold it. And that, of course, makes a little bit of a red flag. But deposits aren't necessarily a scam in and of themselves. So now I was like, well, if I'm going to meet this guy, let me go check his profile out. I want to know who I'm dealing with or try and figure it out. And they're not in the audience right now. But who do I see on his profile? He'd stolen a picture of Courtney from Leviathan Snakes. So I'm no dummy, man. I message him back. I'm like, hey, what's the story with that boa in the picture? Is that your girl that's holding a snake? And he's like, oh yeah, it is. That's a pricey snake around my girl's neck. And man, I just blasted him at that point. I can't even repeat what I said to the guy on a live show. And actually, my son just popped in. Charlie, you saying good night to everybody? Come on.
Hello.
Say good night to everybody, dude.
Good night.
All right. Have a good night. All right, son?
You too.
I love you. So, it just really kind of burned me, both that he's stealing some, personal pictures from somebody that I knew. But secondly, then it dawned on me because I was like, why do these people keep trying this? Why does this keep going on? Why do I have to keep fending these people off? And it hit me that it's because it works. It's because they are getting people out there. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video about this. And kind of a secondary aha that hit me was, and Angel, I think we were talking on a different level about this, not specifically this topic. But the other thing that hit me is I've seen it, I've been guilty of it, but I certainly see it. Our inclination when we see somebody else taken is to be like, you idiot, you dummy. They're not the bad person. The bad person's the people stealing the money from them. Like it, and there's a lot of things that in life, really, but I see in this hobby that can turn into some snobbery, like you were talking about earlier when we were off the air about you make one mistake and somebody wants to, I know cancel's a hot word right now, but somebody wants to treat you like you're the idiot or you're the victim shaming or whatever. And I just made a video where I was like, you know what? I don't know who needs to hear it. If you're too hip to the scams to want to watch, that's okay. Change it. But here's how to protect yourself. And the short, that video come out on Thursday, but the short version is use a credit card where you get your purchase protection and it doesn't come out of your account until you're happy with your sales. So anyhow, thanks for letting me rant. I promise I'll be more positive. And I had a good laugh with Stephen and Courtney about the picture. And anyhow, one day we'll all laugh about it. So Angel, what brings you to the show tonight? And kind of catch us up. Tell us the story too. I really appreciate you reaching out to me, and I'll let you take over for a minute.
So I'm originally from Brooklyn, moved out to Washington almost 10 years ago to do this because New York has these pretty harsh laws. You're not allowed to have any constrictors in the 5 boroughs. You can have them out on Long Island, you can have them upstate, but you can't have them in the 5 boroughs. And
I didn't know that, really.
Yeah, so that happened a long time ago, and people still keep them here and there. And I feel like when it was first passed, it was super enforced, and now I don't think a lot of people care that much. However, by that time, I was already burned out, and I wanted to get out anyway because New York had changed and so on. And I'd come out here on a visit, and I fell in love with the place, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna move there. The Pacific Northwest is a great place if you're into herbs, if you're into the reptiles, if you're into exotics and so on. Oregon's great. I do the Portland show over there a couple times, and it's a great show run by great people. It's cool. It's a cooler spot as far as like having that pressure of what you're doing off of your back.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Because in New York, it's like and then also like you're renting apartments and and so on and so forth. It's tough, but moving out here and changing location and starting up. And the thing about this hobby, I'll tell you right now, just to kind of touch back on the whole like almost cancel thing of people making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. There's not a one person, I don't care how big you are in this hobby, that did not make a mistake. Especially people that have been around a long time, because back in the day, none of us knew half the shit we know now. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna watch that.
All right.
It was a big learning curve. I started out back in like 98, 99. And I think I got my first ball clutch in 99 or 2000. It was around that time. And, it's that same story you hear. Nobody talks to you. Nobody tells you things. They'll sell you whatever you want to pay for. They wouldn't really tell you a lot of stuff. They might tell you how to take care of it. They're not going to tell you how to breed it. It was very much that kind of like almost, I don't want to say like an apprenticeship type of thing, but it was definitely mentorship. You would have, if you were lucky enough to have a mentor, and I was very.
I was just saying, how did that come about? How did you find
I didn't
that?
grow up. I'm from Brooklyn. We didn't grow up, catching snakes and stuff. I didn't. I grew up.
No, I know. I wrote that down. I saw it on your morph market. You're like on your bio morph market.
Catching lizards, and I'm like, I know lizards in Brooklyn.
Yes.
It's not gonna happen. You might find a garter snake, but you're not gonna find lizards. Especially where I lived. It was definite. That concrete jungle idea. That people have. That's where I lived in, and from Bushwick, which there's definitely not a lot of greenery over there. At least at that time, especially. Now it's a different story, but. But there was always a love for animals, and of course most of us were big dinosaur heads growing up. We were kids, but it wasn't until like I was older. I was about 17 years old, and I needed a job. I absolutely needed a job, and ended up working at this pet shop that had a bunch of exotics, and it's like 2 blocks from my house, and I got hired there and it was the greatest experience of my life.
Oh, cool.
I had spoken to the owner, who was a bit intimidating. His name is Bruce, awesome guy. The place is called Paradise Aquarium, family owned since I believe 1963, 1964, and they're still there. They're
They're
still
still
there in
there.
Queens. Yep, in Queens, in original Queens, Paradise Aquarium. Great place, family owned. And did the quick interview with Bruce, looking me up and down while he's chewing his glasses. You know, he's an ex-fire chief, so like,
Oh,
I'm not gonna mess around. But
yeah.
great guy. I learned a lot from him, and his son Gary, who is now the owner of the place. Gary's amazing. I learned a whole lot from him, and the greatest thing about that place was the learning. I had worked with small animals, and I worked in a vet hospital. I did some grooming and so on before that. But I didn't really work with a lot of exotics. So working there, he just had snakes and stuff. And at that time, there were baby gators. There
I
was
was going to
tons of
say,
monitors. Like, he had tons of stuff that you
yeah,
can't
like
have
we're the
now.
same age. I remember the urban myths of like the gators in the sewer, and then it was like that ain't such a myth. Like there's, you know.
Well, we had baby gators, at the shop, but it wasn't like a bunch of them. There would be here and there, but even still, after a couple of years, then the state or city brought the hammer down, and then that was it. None of that stuff was new anymore.
Yeah.
And yet they're still there, and they have an amazing collection of stuff, and they have like they're really known for their fish, especially. But for the most part, it was what I learned from them. They're it's family owned. I still feel like family. They came to my wedding. Like this is
Oh,
family. Like
cool.
they're still family.
Yeah.
We flew back to New York to get married. We got married in New York. Me and my wife. She's originally from Connecticut, and we went back to New York to get married. And the wedding party, they were there. Like it was a family. Everything that helped me get out of my shell, I learned there. And it started me kind of liking snakes and getting into reptiles, because he was big into reptiles. He bred boas, and he was he had gotten some albino boas back in the I think it was like 99 or something like that. Now that was big money. He bred them,
Yeah,
and
those
like
were like
he did
five-figure snakes back then,
he
right?
did amazing, and one of the best things was he told me, I love books, I love education, and he was like, I would be looking at a book, and he'd be like, take it home. He's like, take it home, read it, and if you want, bring it back, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Except I never brought them back. I just bought the books.
Yeah.
And I would just take another book, and I have so many books now. I have books that people would drool over, because they're completely out of print,
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never let that stuff go. I traveled here. There's a lot of my books still in storage in New York, which is stupid, but I took a lot of these books with me, because there's just knowledge in these books, and sharing them and letting people look at these books and stuff is great. But then I just kept going. Like I couldn't stop. I started buying stuff. I started buying stuff and getting into it. And at the shop we were doing different things. We're working with blood pythons. We bred blood pythons one year, and and corn snakes and so on and so forth. And then I had gotten into leopard geckos, and I had so many leopard geckos.
Yeah.
I had tons of leopard geckos, and I was into it right when like patternless had come out, and super orange, super tangerines, and all that stuff came out. And I was buying, these really awesome geckos, and I was really into geckos, but I was also really into snakes, and
Yeah.
I really liked. I always had a ball python. It was the first snake I had.
Let's go to the geckos for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you say it was a past tense, so you got out of that. What'd you find between the difference of the economics between the leopard geckos and the ball pythons? Or what?
If I knew then what I know now, as far as geckos go, I was buying wholesale. I was buying wholesale food for them because I was getting it through the shop,
Yeah.
Now I would just breed my own food. I would just, they didn't have dubia roaches when I was breeding leopards. The dubias weren't a thing. Maybe they were, but they weren't in my circle.
Right.
And I'm from New York. It took me a long time to get into roaches. Let me tell you that. Okay. When you're from New York, you don't want to mess around, like you bring like roaches home. Yeah. Like whoever you live with is like, you brought what home?
Uh-huh.
But and Florida too. I lived in Florida for a little while too, so I get it. Giant palmetto bugs, they fly.
Right.
That was not cool. That was not cool. But breeding my own mealworms. I did get back into geckos when I first moved out here, and I was breeding mealworms and dubias at the time, and superworms. I was breeding all that stuff. I was also breeding bearded dragons. I had done bearded dragons and so on. I had fruit fly cultures, you name it. I have probably dipped in a lot in so many different things as far as animals go, in and out. And oftentimes you get in and out because of change. Your life changes. So I moved a lot. You change your job, your schedules change, so things are hard. For a long time, I worked in a 24-hour emergency animal hospital, and my schedule was around the clock. So it was really hard to schedule anything. There would be times I'd work 5 days, and then the next week's schedule will start, and I'm on the next 5 days. So I'm working 10 days straight. Yeah. And then it's like I come in at 8, I leave at 4, I come in at 3, I leave at 11. Like doing an overnight, getting back in the morning. I've slept at the place because I had to come back in 4 hours. So, that's emergency life.
I don't know about the vet and the emergency side, but that's what it's like in food and beverage. I mean, if you got 200 people that want to eat at 6 a.m. for a golf tournament, guess what? We're all getting there at 2:30.
Absolutely.
It's the behind the scenes stuff. So,
and I worked in a restaurant as a line cook for 2 years. So I get it.
The grind, yeah.
And we could talk about that too. We could talk about that. We could talk about music. I play drums. Like we could talk, man. We got a lot to talk about. But
we do have a lot in common.
The one thing that always seemed to come back was this. It's just, I love ball pythons, man. They're just cool. And I pushed through some stuff because in the mid 2000s, everybody was getting out. It's dead. It's dead. Get out of the hobby. Don't buy in. Nobody's buying ball pythons. You couldn't sell a normal, whatever. It was so many negative people because their projects failed, or they just gave up, or they weren't where they thought they were going to be.
Where was the gathering place? Like, so now the gathering place is, Morph Market, YouTube, Facebook groups. What was the communication? What was the communication hub at that time? And how was that message being conveyed?
So back then you had these message boards and stuff. Fauna was another one. I think it was like ballpythons.net, and then there was like Bush League. Bush League was like the worst and best. It was. It's hard to explain it, but like you would either get some information, or you can get beat up through the screen. It was. But to me, the best way, there were two things back in the day that were like the super popular. If you want to talk about online, it was definitely Kingsnake. Kingsnake.com was definitely the one to go to. Fauna kind of crept up behind that one. I liked Fauna. It was a little more user friendly, but it wasn't as popular. And you always have Reptiles Magazine. You get that Reptiles Magazine. You look in the back, like, when's the next show coming up? Because that was the place you went. You went to the show. You went to the local show. And if you were lucky enough to get a table, because not every table was available. It wasn't easy to get a table sometimes. And if you got one, you didn't want to lose it either. And that was like the White Plains show. We did some Long Island shows, and I went with Gary. Gary brought me in on that. He had a table, brought me in. I went to my first show, and I was like, I got to do this forever. I have to do this forever. Some of the things that, a lot of people that know me personally, they know I'm really quiet, and I keep to myself. But when I'm at a show, I'm like a carnival barker. I'm like a car salesman. Not that I'm trying to get you to buy stuff. It's just that I'm so excited to see all the. It's not just the animals. It's just like to see everyone else's excitement. To know that I am. It's like Comic-Con. I love Comic-Con too. Everybody goes there, and you know that whatever you want to call it, freak flag, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's this acceptance. It's this thing where you're like, I can talk about snakes here, and no one's gonna give me that sour face. No one's gonna make me feel weird. They're gonna say, oh, I have X amount, and it's great. And you make connections, you make friends.
I get it. We get there's a guy in the audience named Jay. We ran restaurants for a better part of 10 years or maybe more together. He's seen it before too. He and I are that way. In the moment, in the dining room, running the show, it's full on. And you probably even saw it a little bit when we were chatting before we came on versus once I hit live. Like it's a different, it's a stage feel. But we would run into people like outside of work and they would be like, Adam, are you all right? You seem down. And I'm like, I'm not down. I'm in jeans and a t-shirt chilling and just being myself. And they're like, yeah, you don't seem like yourself. I'm like, it's because you don't know me outside of work. Like, it's
because we have different modes. And I think, some people are always that person, whoever they are, they're always that person.
There are people that way. Yeah.
And then there are some people that are like a million different peoples all for the wrong reasons. And then there are people that are just like, I consider myself a room reader. I worked a lot with people. When you work emergency, people have to trust you in a matter of seconds. Yeah. I got to take your animal to a place that you can't go.
Yeah.
Because it's not that you're unwanted. It's just that your presence might not be helpful.
That's right.
Yeah. And I need your information. I need to know more information about this pet. I need to know, you burst the door open at 3:00 in the morning and the dog just got hit by a car. There's blood everywhere. I need to take this dog away from you. We've never met before.
Yeah.
Now I got to take this animal and I got to run it down into a treatment area where there are people you've never met before. You've never been to this hospital before. It's not your regular, vet. Then I got to run back up, give you a quick rundown of what they told me. And then you've got to give me, and I've got to get all this stuff and get it on paper. And we got to go back and forth and do the treatment. All this stuff has to happen. And you have to trust me within a matter of moments. And it's not because of some kind of, misdirection, or I'm not lying to you, or I'm not trying to it's a listen, we have to get information. Please trust me. We have to save this animal or whatever. That translates into so many different things because when I'm working at the pet shop, you get different types of people that come in. You're one-on-one with people. Always be one-on-one with people if you have a business. Online business is very different than one-on-one business. I've learned a lot of customer service. I've learned a lot of respect for people on both sides, buyer, seller.
That's right.
And you have to be available for the conversation. You have to be open to a conversation. And when it comes to the hobby, when it comes to especially doing shows, you can sit there behind your table with your arms, folded, and just wait for someone to buy something. Or you can be super engaging. Don't jump them, don't jump off the table and onto their back. Like don't attack them. But say hi. What do you have? Hey, where are you from? I like your shirt. Like you can engage people without even talking about reptiles. You can engage people in so many different ways, because they're already there, and we already have this bond. We have this reptile bond. All you have to do is just open a conversation, and you're good, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and I think that there's a big point to that mental barrier. That think about like the check-in secretary that you have to answer to. Like how intimidating! Not at a reptile show, just walking into a building that has one, and you are, and why? Huh? No, you'll be over there. That mentality, you don't want to build that into people's perception of you because there's a 3-foot banquet table in between you. Yeah, I agree. Come out and around on that.
And then, and I know we talked about like this etiquette thing, and I have a whole list of stuff that we can go over, but it just ultimately comes down to respect, treat people like people. Don't be afraid on both ends, as a vendor or a buyer. Don't be afraid to just ask a question. Be aware of your surroundings, so on and so forth. There's a lot to it, and I like doing shows. I like talking to people. I don't expect you to buy anything. I'm often surprised when someone's like, "Oh, I'll take this," and I'm like, "Really? Okay, cool. Let's do it." Like I'm often surprised, or I'll get somebody who'll come back after I bumped into him like at 3, 4, 5, 6, a dozen shows. I had this one guy just come by and say hi all the time, and he would always say, "Oh, I'm just saying hi. I'm not getting anything today, so I'm not going to bother you." I'm like, "You're not bothering me."
Yeah.
A couple of years later, he walked up and he said, "I want this one. Today is the day I'm buying one of your snakes." Right there. He went just like that. He handed me money and he walked away. And I was like, this is the time you should be having a conversation. And he left.
Right.
But and I've seen him since. nice guy. Like, it can be intimidating. I'm just a person. You're a person. Like, walk up to me, say hi. It's fine. It's fine.
I think another point to it too is that, particularly as a seller and a little bit as a buyer, but particularly as a seller, you got to do the work. I hear people griping on Morph Market about tire kickers or don't waste my time and ask me this or that. And I'm like, anybody that is approaching you probably is considering giving you money, even if it's a tiny little bit. And what are you in it for? Like, I get that maybe it's not money as the driving force, but at the end of the day, why are you on Morph Market selling if money isn't part of it? And yeah, there's some headaches, but also I'm still kind of pumped from it. Last week, I sold a snake, and I'm pumped about that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I met a great customer. She's going to be a great snake owner. And it was just so refreshing to hear somebody go, what am I missing? What can you tell me about this animal? Here's what I think I know. It was her first ball python. Here's what I think I know. Tell me where I'm wrong. What can I do? And like, it just felt like I was back in the restaurant selling the best bottle of wine with the best cut of meat, because I had badass cooks behind me and chefs that were going to just melt their faces with food.
See, but
like,
with that, that's knowing your product, though.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that I think can convey when you're selling a snake that, maybe you didn't breed, and or maybe you're not 100% sure of the genetics. Maybe, there's a lot of these things that can convey, and then that person feels a little funky, about it, So it's not that you have to sell these animals, because they sell themselves. You put it out there. Somebody wants it, they're going to take it. If you find yourself pushing to move animals, you might want to reevaluate your collection or how you do things. You don't have to have every social media outlet. You don't have to put ads on billboards. Not people. There are people that aren't even on social media that do very well. They do shows, or they post stuff on their own Facebook. Maybe that I don't know.
Yeah. So what's your angle on that? Because you're on Instagram, and is that it that you're on as far as snakes? That's it.
Well, that and Morph Market.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Morph Market and Instagram. So what's kind of your? I don't need specific. I mean, you can talk about whatever you want, but like, what's sort of your mix of? Did the sales come from Instagram, Morph Market, or other avenues that you have as well, or that you figure out?
I think for me, sales come from everywhere. I do shows. I have a show next month in Puyallup, right over here. I'm going to be doing that show. And shows are really good for getting out there locally, especially locally. Morph Market is really good, obviously, for, non-locally, for, you want to spread your, your audience open. You want to open this audience up to what you have, and somebody in Oklahoma might be looking for what I have, but they don't know I have it. So I use Instagram, because with Instagram, I find it sort of gives you what you're looking for. You're not getting flooded with a bunch of stuff, especially if you subscribe to someone that has things that you want. You're going to keep seeing that. And if you don't, you'll click back. You'll be like, hey, whatever happened to this guy? And you look and like, oh, because the algorithm does get a little funky from time to time. But I like Instagram because I can post pictures, write something, and that's it. Yeah. It's not out there for, a ton of ridicule here and there. And even if it was, it's fine. Like, I take criticism. It's fine. That's also how you learn. But I've had a very good response from Instagram.
I was going to say, I find Instagram the healthiest. I don't know if that means the most forgiving, if that means easiest.
I get that.
I find it
the
most,
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, I find it the healthiest. I tell you what, though, and maybe it's from some of the YouTube's gotten better about filtering out sort of bashing. So maybe it's YouTube doing its job, but I can count on one hand I'm coming up on 200 videos, especially if you count these shows, probably over 200. I can count on one hand the people that have sort of come at me, so to speak. And so it's pretty healthy, but Facebook is just like, It's like a minefield, man. It is.
It's one thing taking this criticism, right? It's one thing saying, hey, well, people are talking, okay. It's another thing when it's just like ridiculousness just coming at you because somebody just feels like attacking you, and then other people jump in, and Facebook tends to be like that. So with Instagram, it's mostly people that are following you, and they're like, wow, that's cool, oh, this is awesome, and you're following them, and you're like, wow, that's cool, wow, this is awesome. Like,
yeah,
it's a
there's
back and forth, and they're really good. I've made some really good connections through Instagram, more than sales. I'm going to tell you that much. I've made a lot more connections than sales, and I feel like sometimes, depending on how you look at it, that's more valuable. I can go to another state, and I know like 3 or 4 people over there, and they'll be like, hey, I'm coming out there.
Right.
They might be like, oh, come check out my facility. Hey, you want to get dinner? Do you want, like, this is fine. This is good. That's how we open this up, and this is how we can be positive toward each other. And again, that's also another conversation about a lot of things. I know we wanted to talk about, I hate taking over, but whatever. But I know we wanted to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but I feel like I think if anything, if you want to do a show about like etiquette and vendors and stuff like that, or buyers and stuff, I'm definitely down to do that. Because I think that's something we could definitely jump into. But I feel like I'm on here and people don't even know who I am.
Well, I was going to say, so let's go back for just a minute. And actually, I got a couple questions written down. But tell us where you're at, as much as you're comfortable or want to share, on sort of that hobby versus business spectrum. Where do you fall on that? And then give us some stats about your collection. Like, what's your breeding stock? What are you producing each year, like volume wise, that sort of stuff?
So I'm actually doing, I would say this is all I do now.
Yeah, nice.
And it's not because this is what pays the mortgage or the bills or whatever. It's because I'm a stay-at-home dad. I'm a stay-at-home dad.
There you go.
A couple of years ago, and I was at the restaurant, I ended up having appendicitis, and my appendix just about burst, and I went into emergency, and I had emergency surgery. And apparently when you're older and that happens, it's pretty rough. So it took me a while to recover. It sucked. It was really bad. And at that same time, my wife's job had just gotten insane. And you work at a restaurant, and you could work a couple days here, a couple days there, and they were being super flexible with me, because all of a sudden she would have to fly away. She got to go to California. She'd have to go to Hawaii. She had to go to Hawaii once, and she had to travel a lot at the time for her job. And I kept saying, like, oh, I'm sorry, next week I can't. My wife, it was out of our control. Out of our control, because she had to travel for her work. And we had a long conversation, and she was like, you know what, just stay home, because we're gonna end up having to get a babysitter or this or that, and we're gonna be working to pay someone else to read. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay home. And you know what? The more I'm home, the more I can work on this stuff.
That's right.
The more I can make this go. So I've been home for almost 2 years now, and it's great. I'm with my son every day.
I was going to say, you get the time with your boy, and
I'm with him all day long, and I come in here. His room actually shares a wall with the reptile room, so he's right there. So if he's playing right there, I leave the door open. He's right there. And it just turned into that. So I was able to really focus, because it's hard to, everybody that's doing this and is working a job and doing this at the same time, they all know it's hard, especially trying to grow your collection. It's hard.
That's a topic.
The bigger your collection is, the more work you have to put into it.
Yeah, that's a topic that comes up almost every show. And whether it's somebody just starting out, whether it's Kai over at Lucas Landon, Steven, I mean, everybody's saying, and it's easy. I think is a really good point too. It's a little bit of a right turn or left turn or whatever. It's easy to get caught up in the whole like comparison game, and it's toxic too. Like, we're all on our own journey. We're all on our own ways. I would hope nobody's going painfully in debt mistaking money for credit and hobby for job and business for hobby. But that's a different story. Assuming all that's healthy, then we're all on our own pace. But something that comes up, no matter who's at what point where, is always finding the time to put in the work and to do it right. And to your point, whether it's growing your collection or growing your brand, man, like, there's no way anybody could have seen it because I haven't published it yet, but I worked my 8 hours. I went and got my son from school. I did show prep today, and I snuck in filming a video. And after the show, I'm probably going to edit it for an hour, and I'm going to go to bed. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to post on Instagram the second I get up. And I love it. That's not what was me. I'm having a good time doing it, and that's cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. If you're I mean, I'll do it. Like, if you're doing that, if you're not getting joy out of, you know what? Right. Sometimes it's not even joy. Sometimes it's the joy of working. You know, it's the joy of fulfillment. It's the joy of like, look what I did. I did this. Like, I'm done. Let's go on to the next thing, and being focused. You know, I don't post every day on Instagram. I can't. You know, it's hard. I have laid out like 4 or 5 pictures in a row, and I sit there and I'm like, what do I write?
What am I going to put here?
And then all of a sudden my son's like, can I play with clay? And I'm like, yes, we can play with clay. I can't do this right now. And I walk away, and it's clay time because I don't. And then I come back and I open my phone. I'm like, oh, this thing's been sitting here. I didn't even. I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. You know, and because I try to do it at the same time every day. And then it's like, oh, I got to go take pictures. And snakes don't stay still. And, you know, something, the lighting, the this, whatever. Now I got to look at these pictures, pick the picture. You know, there's so much work that goes into social media that, especially if you have a full-time job, a family, you know, and so on and so forth. And it's not something that you can get to right away. You can try to schedule it into your life. And if you can, beautiful, get that schedule going. I tried. It's not easy. I have a 4-year-old. He doesn't care about a schedule.
No, he doesn't give a damn about the schedule.
But, you know, and then my wife's actually, she just recently started a new job a few months ago, and that's even crazier. So it's definitely different, and this has now become my norm. Getting up, hanging out with him, coming in here, doing some work, you know, then getting lunch together, coming back. I'm in here every day for a few hours a day. There are days where I'm in here all day. I have a lot of.
What's your
in here?
What's your stock size? What are you dealing with in your room there?
I'm at that point in my collection where I'm rotating. This is going to be my first year where I'm rotating breeder females out and breeder males out. So this next show, I'm going to be bringing a bunch of, you know, adult proven breeder animals that are they're just tough to let go, but you know, I have to do it. Some of the girls I've had for 10 years.
Right.
Pump out. Like, I have this giant cinnamon girl. I have never weighed her, but she's a beast, and she doesn't pump out large clutches, but she gives monster eggs. Like, she'll give you 8 monster eggs, you know. And where she looks like she'll pop out 12, she'll give you 7 or 8 like ostrich eggs, like beastly animals. And I have a bumblebee female, same age as her, half her size, will give you 8 eggs every year.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Also, the most aggressive breeding animal I've ever seen. This girl chases the males. She slaps her tail around. She is super aggressive when it comes to breeding. You know, she's not a biter, but boy, you throw a male in there, she's around. Yeah, it's never a problem with that girl. Every year, like clockwork, she will give you, like, I think one year she gave me 5 eggs. You know, like the first year she gave me 5 eggs, and every year after it was either 7 or 8 eggs. She's a beast.
Nice. And so, what are some of your projects you're most passionate about? What are you excited to be working on right now?
So I think we all walk into this hobby with one idea.
Of course. Yeah. That's life, right?
And something happens. You know, you might see a combo and be like, oh my God, I've never seen that before. You know, 'cause especially when people are new, you might not know all the combos or all of the genes even. Like there's
Yeah, it's
so many
almost
genes.
impossible to. Yeah.
And then there's a lot of genes people they don't work with anymore, or very little, and you just pop it up and you're like, oh man, you know, that's that's cool. I've never seen that. Is that new? And then you're like, no, it's been around 20 years. And you're like, oh my God, where have I been? I need this animal. And then you might find out, man, nobody's really done anything with this.
Yeah.
For me, I had always wanted a snow.
Yeah.
Just a VPI snow, an albino VPI snow. I wanted one because when I started out, I remember albinos were like 15 grand or something like that. Pieds were like 25. And then the snow came out, and I think it was like 20, 25 grand or something like that.
Hmm.
And in comparison to what we see today, when I first saw snow, it was like whatever Ozzy would come out with today. That was my feeling. Like I was like, oh my God, look at this animal.
Right.
One day I'm gonna get one of these. One day I'm gonna get one. And fast forward, and I have them. I bred them. I have a bunch of them now. I have babies for sale.
Oh, cool.
But along the way, there's progression in the hobby. Whether it's new genes, new combos, new setups, new husbandry ideas. All those things. It can change. It can definitely change, because when you look at fish tanks to freedom breeders or ARS racks, you look at a wall of fish tanks and you're like, I could keep about 12 steaks. All right, cool, maybe 10. When you look at freedom breeder, you're like, in that same space, I can keep 40 adult females.
Right.
There's a big difference, and it doesn't just come from the animals themselves. It's the industry itself.
Yep. Yeah, that's
the
true.
Industry itself. And
hey, on the snows, before we get too far away from it, what are you working into the snow? So, I mean, I realize that an albino is xanthic with otherwise normal patterns. I'm familiar with that. What do dark genes do different things?
I haven't done a whole lot just yet. I kind of started a project that is a very selfish, just for me project, and it's because I just never seen one. And I mixed VPI snow with an orange ghost and made triple heads.
Orange what?
Orange ghost, so hypo.
Orange ghost, yep.
Because I'd never seen. Back in the day, they called them a blizzard. Now they call them hypo snows. I don't know what it's going to look like. It could be cool. It could be cool. Right. It could be not. It could be all white. It could be bright yellow. I don't know what it's going to be. I look at the blizzards and colubrids. They're cool. I think for me, it's just I just want to make one, and after that, we'll see what happens. And
right.
I do think some of the darker morphs in the snow, black pastel, blackhead, and so on and so forth. Those are things. As far as that project goes, that's just a me project. That's just like I'm being selfish. Like I have right behind me, I have 3 triple het females. They're triple het for hypo snow females, and I found out 2 years ago that my original 11-year-old orange ghost male finally bred one of his daughters back to him, and it turns out all this time he was het for genetic stripe.
Wow.
And by some chance she was 50, let's call it 50%. She proved. So I produced some orange ghost genetic stripes.
Oh, cool.
I opened the egg and I was like, what?
Yeah, so not only did you not know that he was het, she got the coin flip, and then you held that specific one back. But yeah, the odds were
out of a dozen,
right?
And so all these females that I have another one. So I have 4 of them, four triple het females. They're also all 50% possible genetic stripes.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. And I have 2 triple het males that I kept back. And then I have some babies and so on. And, and it's a long project. And it's just, again, it's just if it comes out and it's cool and people want to get some, sure. It's fine. I have like some 66% possible babies. I actually have some male snows that are 50% possible het hypo, and then you throw in the whatever possibility of genetic stripe in there too.
Yeah.
But and that, again, that was like a me project. But over time I started looking at different things, and I was like, oh, I really like vanilla cream. Like, that's cool. You know, you're learning about the allelic, you know, these allelic genes. And I always thought a Firefly was cool. Firefly came out. I saw one at a show, blew me away. I was like, I never seen one so bright before.
I bet cool when those first debuted, yeah.
And they were going for big money, and I was like, yeah, one day I want that too. You know, you do that checklist in your head, like, I want that. Just wait for the price to go down. And so I ended up really getting into it, and I looked into them, and then I was very much about that vanilla cream, and then work from there. So I ended up getting a vanilla cream Orange Dream male, and I got a couple sub-adult females, some adult females, had some females that I had grown up, and I started messing with Gene. I started messing with him and a couple other females, and not thinking about vanilla. I know that the 2 fires are super fire, which is really cool. You know, and that's another thing. I'm like, why are these not more popular? It's a completely white animal with jet black eyes and red pupils. This is a cool animal. You know, sometimes you get yellow splotching, like, that's cool. Right. Blue-eyed Lucy's are cool, but this thing's got black eyes and a red stripe. That's so cool, you know? And so I was thinking about that. And then I had bred him to a vanilla spectre female, and I popped out some super vanillas, and I was holding in my hand, and I was like, holy shit, this thing is amazing.
Yeah.
How come? And all of a sudden I thought about it, and I was like, why don't I see anything? So I started doing some research, and I'm like, I don't see a lot of vanilla stuff working. I don't see a lot of super vanilla stuff working, you know? And I'm like, this is a super form that I just don't see. It's available, but I don't see a lot going on. This was I'm going back maybe like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, there's not a lot going on with this, so I need to look into it. And I'm obsessive. I was like, wow, I gotta get this stuff going. And all of a sudden I turned around, and I have so many vanilla combos here. I have a bunch of super vanillas. Like my friend Dylan from These Balls and Exotics, great guy. It turns out he lives right down the road from me. You know, we hooked up one day. He's awesome. And, you know, he told me one day, you know, we were joking about it, and he was like, oh man, he goes, you're that vanilla guy. Like, let's just put it that way. You're that vanilla guy. And I'm like, there's gotta be somebody out there that does it more than me, you know, and I'm sure that there is, because a lot of people are underground, but I have vanilla in almost everything.
Yeah.
You know? And with that said, I also have Orange Dream in almost everything, you know, and the combo of vanilla and Orange Dream is just cool. You know, that's another reason I like to go to shows, because I like people to see these things. You see it online, even here, I can take some out for you guys to see, but holding it and actually seeing it, because vanilla and super vanillas have like a glow to them. It's hard to explain. I have some examples here I can show you guys, but what I don't have is a single gene vanilla. The only single gene vanilla I have, she's also het for clown, so I feel like that's cheating, because she's like really pretty. She's super pretty, and I don't want to mess with her too much, because this is her first year breeding, and I got a vanilla clown male that I'm breeding to her, because super vanilla clowns are just incredible. And the gene itself it's a subtle gene. However, like with a lot of genes, you work a gene, you keep back the nicest ones. Because when Orange Dreams came out, they looked like dirt. There was, you know, a lot of yellow bellies look like dirt. But you could see there's something there. Right. But you look at some yellow bellies today, and they're outstanding. You look at Orange Dreams today, they're incredible. You know, line breeding, crossbreeding, however you're doing it, it's incredible. This is where you don't give up. Don't give up. It takes time. You cannot get into this hobby and say, next year I'm going to be a millionaire. It takes time. I've been in and out of this hobby for years, and I always come back with things I learned from the last time. However, this is it. Like, I'm done now. I'm not getting out. This is it. I've put a lot of work in, and this is me seeing the fruits of my labor, because I am breeding animals I've kept back. I am rotating out older females and older males. I am seeing what, so true selective breeding, for certain traits can bring, not just
Right.
like, oh, I like this, I like that. If you're familiar with a fire, they look similar to fires. They're just not as light. They're not as light, and they tend to have more boxy alien heads. As fire, as you get toward the tail, they'll be more connecting. And have more of that. And fires, oddly enough, have a more prominent head stamp than vanilla sometimes. However, a super vanilla has the completely washed out head.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys want to see some stuff.
Yeah, let's see some stuff, and then
I pulled some stuff out. I did pull some stuff to the side. So,
all right, well, show us what you got then.
So first thing, I'm gonna show you he's a vanilla. I thought he was just like an exceptional vanilla, which he could be, but I think he's a vanilla orange dream. Now that he's a bit older, he's I believe he's an orange dream. However, still a really nice looking snake.
Hang on a second. Let me get this screen proper. There we go.
All right. Sorry, a little dry throat. Okay. Let me get used to this reverse thing.
Yeah.
So this is, you can see head's nice and washed out. Body, very clean. That's the reason I say we're looking at more of orange dream. This area here has that very, very heavy white bordering around that orange.
What's his belly look like?
Belly's clear.
Yeah.
And orange dream also will give like some tracks toward the end.
I was just about to say, it looks like he has the orange stream tracks with it too. Yep.
But I have some that have they look like head hides. So.
Oh, I know.
But
yeah.
This is, I'm pushing it by saying this is vanilla. I think this is a vanilla orange dream. He's the other thing about vanillas too, they do clean up a little bit. They do clean up as they get older. They don't fade. They kind of get nicer as they get older.
Mm. Show the back, like the little dog bones on the lateral. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some cool patterning on the back. Right down to the head. And I know that you had, I don't want to butcher it. Was it, he also has a bunch of vanillas too. You did a show with him. I just watched it recently. I cannot remember his name.
Was it Kai?
You guys are, no.
Or Steven?
But I don't think he had
a lot of vanilla. It was Steven. He was talking about vanillas.
Yeah, someone had a bunch of vanillas, and they had a vanilla banana. He had a bunch of bananas in his collection.
Yeah, hang on.
Super bananas.
That was Joe.
Joe.
Ball Python 9. Yes, Joe. Because we were comparing. I've got a banana.
I was on that one. I actually made a couple. I typed in a couple of things because you guys were talking about having vanilla and such. So I wanted to jump in on that because I hear vanilla and I come running.
Yeah,
because nobody talks about it.
I got to send you some pictures and get your opinion because I think there's something going on in either my clown breeder or my female banana breeder, and because all that I knew of it was that it was banana het ghost and a pastel clown male, and mathematically the different things that popped out, there's more. I think there's two more, but there's certainly at least one more in there. But like you say,
let me take a look.
I'm going to leave them be because it's later in the evening here now. I'm going to let them be here, but I'm going to send you some pictures. But, you described it just right, I think, because, well, I know you described it right because you know what you're talking about. But I think it applies to what I have because it is a yellower color, but it's not. It's like a richer yellow. It's not just brightening like fire. It's almost like a richness.
It's hard to explain. It's definitely different, but it is a bit of a cleaner gene as well. Not as much as like an orange dream, and definitely not as much as like desert growth. This is a pastel vanilla orange dream.
Wow.
You can see the more wash. Now vanilla and pastel work really, really cool together. It tends to, I think people think, especially with pastel, about that washout and the brightening of it. I find that pastel also, the blacks of pastel tend to be, darker too. And with vanilla, it tends to kind of accentuate the black of the vanilla and the pastel. And this guy is a really good example of that. The blushing,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
all pastel.
Yeah, you can see the orange breaking through too on that.
And then you can see that the classic kind of like orange dream tracks in the tail. I gotta go backward. I hate this. I'm terrible. This guy's not the happiest right now. You can kind of see.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, definitely an orange stream on that. Yep. Now the alien heads that are tied together on that one, you think that's mostly due to the orange stream or a combination of vanilla and orange stream? On the tail part?
That's definitely the orange dream. And, it would be the combination of the two, yeah. And the dad was a super orange dream, so a super vanilla. So we're definitely,
cool.
This is definitely vanilla. So you can see, I'm just terrible with this camera thing. Because I don't know how the hell you guys can see this.
It's pretty clear, actually. It's when it's super up close, there's a little bit of, it's focusing on your face rather than the snake, but it's not distracting at all, actually.
And I have here this girl. She is. I'm probably gonna get tagged. This girl here, she is a super pastel vanilla orange dream.
Oh yeah. The tighter pattern. Yeah. Oh, that orange dream is really nice coming up the bottom there, like that, filling in those gaps. That's a pretty animal there.
Belly's completely clear.
Yeah, so the super pastel just washed out the belly tracks, huh?
You can see very bright. They're just bright. Vanilla and pastel they work really, really well together. There's no pastel hate here. Every gene has its place. Every gene belongs in somewhere or another. And everybody's got it in their collection, so let's just stop hating.
I was going to say it ain't going anywhere, so may as well figure out what to do with it. Yeah, it's got that tail stripe like an orange stream does as well.
And she's gorgeous up close. It's just hard. Again, it's hard to really show you that. And here I have just this is going to be a vanilla cream.
And for those of people that don't know, vanilla cream is vanilla and what gene?
And fire.
Fire. Vanilla fire.
So you're going to get, so they're going to act, it's the ALS, the act like super. So we're going to be allelic here. You're going to see how they work together. And you can see the super washed out head.
Yeah. That's neat that it gives the kind of broken up stone look as well to it.
The body is just like everything kind of breaks up. And then usually you'll have a lot of connecting, dorsal pattern there as well. Gives it kind of a granity look on the side.
It does, yeah.
Very, but look at the color though. Like they have this reddish brown, these like kind of coppery tones to them.
Yep. And splotchy.
Really, really pretty animal. It really, and I like that. It almost looks like I don't want to say like arm fatigue-ish type of thing, not the color, but the pattern. Very strange. It's really cool. That was a reason why I liked them. I was like, oh man, these vanilla creams, man, these things are cool. Like the washed out head is what got me. Yeah,
for a 2-gene animal, that is incredibly cool. And for anybody watching that doesn't know, when we say allelic or ALS stands for acts like super. Allelic is the official genetic term, but it means that any animal, you could breed that animal to a normal and all the babies will be either fire or vanilla, but they won't be both. They cannot be both. They have to be one or the other, but you won't get any normals.
So here, I'm going to show you a little bit bigger animal here. Now that was a vanilla cream. Now this here is also a vanilla cream, and she is a bit older. She's a vanilla cream possible specter. She's possible specter.
Nice. How old's that animal, or how big is that?
She's 2019.
Okay. She's coming up on what? 1,400, 1,500 grams?
She's about. I think last time I weighed her, she was just under 13.
Okay.
I gotta check. I have to look at her cards. You can see they get older. They don't.
Yeah, they're keeping their
brown
pattern
out.
and color. Yeah.
They don't brown out. It's very well defined. Again, there could be specter in here. Now that she's older, I'm not really thinking so much. But they also get these, which you can't. It's hard to really see in between these.
You see them.
These dips. You can see these like blotches, these light blotches that come through.
Yep. And almost the striping across the saddle, like the blushing saddles across the top.
Let's see that. So keeping this in mind, and let's see if she behave. I have right here. I got you. You're okay. I have this girl, which is a vanilla cream orange dream, possible het hypo.
Oh,
She's
cool.
50% possible het hypo.
Man, have you done that? Anything with vanilla cream into clown? I mean, how clean would that be, huh?
I haven't done vanilla cream into clown, but I'm working vanilla for super vanilla clowns.
Okay.
So you can see the difference between this one here is vanilla cream, and this one is orange dream vanilla cream. Orange dream will take out the pattern and just brighten it up right here.
Yep.
So you can see kind of like how still, I mean, vanilla cream is still gorgeous, but you add a little shot of OD in there.
Yeah, really cool. Hey,
Really
Jeremy, thanks for coming by tonight. Just saying hey to Jeremy here.
Yeah.
Bots, Exotic Reptiles.
All right. Go in there, please. So, again, this just the orange dream, just like, and she's actually nicer than her dad.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of think maybe she might be a het orange ghost. So, but we'll see. It's a really pretty animal. So, keeping that in mind, get under you. Now, super vanilla looks like this. Yeah, I know. So super vanilla is going to look similar to a vanilla cream, except you're going to have more defined pattern.
Yeah, very
it's
defined.
Not so granity on the side. It's not granity pretty much at all. You do get your blushing in the pattern, and you get the super washed out head. So I'm going to look down. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Terrible at this. And again, clean belly.
Yep.
Very nice on the sides. You're going to have limited pattern on the side, but a lot of it's going to be on the back. I tend to call vanillas and super vanillas koi fish because they just look really cool from the top.
Yeah. No, they do look cool from the top that way.
And they'd have like a glow to them. It's hard to explain. But, that washed out head, I don't know why it does it for me. It's just so cool. It's just really cool. And I see a lot of potential with these animals, working, especially seeing what Orange Dream does. And I've seen so many more people working with it. I do see, some of these guys working. If you listen, you'll hear Vanilla dropped in a lot of combos. Justin and Ozio have been using it a lot lately. Billy from Mutation Creation, I think he just cut a vanilla cream clutch just recently.
Yeah.
However, I'm not seeing super vanillas, a lot of super vanillas. Constriction Addiction has a super vanilla pied, and that's incredible. And before I saw that, I actually paired, and I have some vanilla het pieds here that should be going next year.
Yeah.
And I have one Orange Dream. Yeah, I have some super vanilla pieds going next year, but this year I have an Orange Dream vanilla het pied male going to my pied female. So we'll see what happens there. That's also a really cool animal.
Do you have any vanilla bananas?
I have no banana in my collection.
No banana. Yeah.
I have none. I have none. I do want to show you another. So this guy here is probably the one that like a lot of people go nuts over. And this is a pastel super vanilla orange dream.
Okay. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's striking there. Again, super vanilla on the headstand, man. It's like it's got two like almost rails, and then everything is washed out in between it, huh?
Mm-hmm. And that's the pastel doing a bit more washing, but
sure.
the vanilla just gets rid of everything on top. It's bright yellow. This thing is bright yellow. There's no speckling or muddiness in between. The blacks are like very, very vibrant and black, and the back blushing and so on. It's just incredible. This animal, this thing came out of the egg, and I was like, please be a male.
Yeah.
And it was. And this guy has been doing some work. He has some babies on the ground that are very nice.
Oh, cool.
The super vanilla, the super pastel vanilla orange dream, that's his baby actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Really cool. And you can see he has those OD tracks on the tail.
Yeah.
He's not head pied. That's just what orange dream will do.
Yeah, it'll throw you off for sure.
He's just an amazing example of these genes. And
do you have it in any recessives yet, or you haven't quite got there yet?
We're working on it. We I mean, aside from clown, because I have the vanilla clown male.
Can you show us the vanilla clown male?
Yeah, where is he? He's here. I just took him out. He's little. He's weird. He's been a slow grower. However, he has locked up a couple times. He eats well, but I don't know. I feel like maybe he's just a small. I don't know. Anyway, that's vanilla. Not a super. It's just a one layer of vanilla on top of clown. And what you're gonna get is you're really gonna get a lot of these very white, open kind of patterning on the side. Very bright back.
Yep.
Very, very bright in the back. And then what I noticed with some other ones that I've seen, you'll see on the top of the head, you're not going to get super washed out, but you get like a weird, almost looks like a hammer on the back of his head.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
with the handle going down his neck. Yep.
Very light color. The light part is very light. Really down into the white. I'm really excited. I really want to produce some. I have two females. I have a vanilla het clown female and a pastel vanilla het clown female, and he's working his magic there. And
yeah, so you could get a super with those, right?
That's what I'm working for. I want to get a super. If I get a pastel super, I don't care.
Yeah,
that's fine too. But this girl is just this animal that I'm going to show you is just incredible, and she is a pastel super vanilla orange dream specter.
Pastel vanilla orange dream specter. Okay.
This girl she's just outstanding. The stripe just goes all the way down.
Yeah, straight down. That's the specter doing that?
I think so. I don't know.
In combination with the others?
Yeah, I've popped out some vanilla specters, and they are really cool looking. They're really something. Specter and vanilla, I've noticed there's something different about it. But she's just super clean, really, really nice.
She's got great body condition. You're breeding her this year?
Yeah, she's actually been bull wrapping. She was just wrapped around the bull just now.
Cool.
She's I did a little. I'm trying something different. I'm not gonna say just yet, but we're trying something. Even for her first year, I thought I would kind of shoot high and do something
Okay.
funky with her. So I'll keep you posted on that.
All right.
You know, again, we change our plans often. You know.
Yeah, if you ain't willing to roll with
Um,
changes, this thing's gonna cut it for you.
But she, you know, I remember what was his name? Joe, Ball Python 9, was it?
Yeah.
He was talking about these neck stripes and such, you know, and these guys, especially the supers, will have these, you know, varying like
Oh yeah.
connecting neck stripes.
Yeah, that's right. He was talking about that. Yeah.
So I would like to talk to him too. You know, if he has any questions too, I can show him lots of examples of such.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of them do have it.
On the show, he's super down to earth, absolutely accessible, man.
This girl should be popping out some cool stuff this year. So we'll see what happens there. But the thing is too is that you could try lots of different combos and see what works. You can try, you know, even if you know what's going to happen, you still kind of don't know what's going to happen. You know, because I have some animals that are pastel vanilla orange dreams, and they don't even look like they're orange dream, and they are. You know, they absolutely are. Or they don't even look vanilla, but the dad was a super vanilla. You know, and it's just, to me, it's just one of these genes, especially the super form, that I'm like, I know there's more that you can do with this.
Right.
You know, one thing that I find, I don't want to say that it's not problematic, you know, I want to say it's kind of annoying, is that there tends to be, with some people, not everybody, but there tends to be this mindset of like, if it doesn't work with clown, you know, if it doesn't make clown explode or do something ridiculous with clown, that it's, I don't want to work with it. You know, this vanilla clown is the only clown I have in my collection.
I mean, it's the hot gene right now, and we know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know there's 4 or 5 people that sway the hobby inordinately and exponentially more than the rest of us, and that's cool. I was going to say I'm not jealous. I am jealous of them. I'm not any begrudging against them. They're successful.
No, not at all. And that's the thing too. Like, clown was my favorite gene forever until like when they were affordable, and then you know, I wanted to get some, and then it seemed like they kind of exploded. And I find like I'm always that guy that's like, yeah, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I'm gonna do something else. And I think that's why I like vanilla, because nobody's working with it. So I wanted to do something and show people what to do with it. And one of the things was putting vanilla in leopard, you know, and I know I've seen vanilla leopards. I've seen some here and there. And I also think leopard is another gene that like people have, they like it, but I think it can do a lot too. You know, I think a lot can be done with it.
Incredible.
It's a wonderful gene. It's a wonderful gene, you know, and genes tend to get pushed to the side, you know, like hypo got pushed to the side by, you know, a bunch of other genes. You know, albino gets pushed to the side because of lavender and so on. Meanwhile, I like albino. I think, you know, I talked to Gershon from GP Snakes, and he loves albino. That's his favorite gene. I love albino. I think albino's a great gene. And I always said to myself, I was like, I'm gonna make an albino pied. I want an albino pied.
Yeah. Well, it takes that passion to drive those things. That's how innovation and excitement stays in the hobby, or else it would just be those 4 or 5 people that are getting to be puppeteers, you know?
Albino pieds are cool. So I made one.
Yeah, nice, man.
You know?
Was that this year's hatchling?
This is this year.
Yeah.
This is one of the first to come out this year.
Congratulations, man. That is beautiful. That's awesome.
She's gorgeous. Like, she's gorgeous. Unfortunately, her mom was egg bound and passed.
Oh no, really? So, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
That sucked. We did everything we could. It happens. This is something else we could talk about in the hobby as well, at another time. But yeah, egg bound happened. Don't be discouraged. It sucks. You know, you wanna be really upset about it, but don't. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. It's a gorgeous animal. I love this. Like, I can't. Albino's cool. Albino is a cool gene. To me, it's still a cool gene. You know,
that snake is beautiful, man. If that doesn't get people excited, man, it should. It should.
And when I sexted her and I was like, "You're a female," I was like, "Well, you're definitely staying. You know, I lost your
That's
mom.
right.
You know, I want to keep you. You're not going anywhere. I have to keep you now." Um, and Pied is another thing that I'm really heavy with. I really like Pied. I have a lot of
Cool.
Pied stuff,
Hey,
and that I'm growing.
let's take just 1 second. I want to say hey to Kai specifically. He just showed up. Kai's always been good to me from Lucas Land and Royals.
What's up,
Anybody
Kai?
else new joining? This is Angel Carro. He's out in Washington right now by way of Brooklyn for sure. And he was cool enough to reach out to me earlier this week and just actually really complimentary. I appreciate that. But we've kind of hit it off, and he's taken us through some of his collection of certainly gone through vanilla. And I think you just said you're about to break out some Pied, which is killer too.
I do have some questions, but I do want to thank everybody for being here and watching this and such. I appreciate it. Well, listening to me ramble, you know, I could do that all day. I do have one thing here I want to show you real quick. And just going back to vanilla, this is pastel vanilla leopard.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, so they pull that one out where he's got the connected on the 2/3 towards the tail. Yeah, look at that long stretch there.
She's really cool looking, you know, like up close, very clean. You know, a lot of leopards aren't super clean like that. Your washed out head.
Yep.
Very nice body. Very cool.
I'm sorry.
On the body.
I was typing, but what's the excuse me, I got my allergies kicking up here. I was typing. Did you say that's a super pastel?
No, just a pastel vanilla.
Okay, so not a super. Leopard. I thought I heard super.
No.
Okay.
Not yet. We're almost there. She's cool. And then I popped out her sister. This clutch was crazy because the majority of them were female too, which was nuts. And that snake is also, she's also possible specter or yellow belly. Because the dad was a pastel yellow belly leopard. The mom was a pastel vanilla specter. So I got super stripes. I was going for some super stripes and leopard super stripes. I love leopard super stripes. It's just cool. Like, you know, a super stripe in itself is amazing. You know, this is a pastel vanilla super stripe.
Look at that. That's great.
Super stripes are another one. They got pushed aside a little bit, but they're so cool.
Looking at those head stamps, I'm more and more convinced that what I got going on in mine that I wasn't sure of is vanilla.
You can see the body and what it, you know, very washed out, blushed out, you know, very nice bold stripe down the back, almost complete. You know, actually, I think it is complete all the way down.
Yeah, just the speckling on the sides too is really killer.
So you look at her, and then you saw the last girl. And look at this girl. And this is a what do I have you marked at? This is a pastel super stripe leopard vanilla.
Look at that animal, man. That is great. Say it again. Pastel leopard super stripe.
Pastel super stripe leopard vanilla.
Wow.
Let's see if I can show you her back a little better.
You can't beat that, right?
So needless to say, I'm going to be working with leopard and super stripe a whole lot more.
Holy cow. Yeah, man. Whew.
I call her my giraffe.
Yeah, I that is the right name for it.
If anything, I'll call it the giraffe ball because that's what she looks like.
Have you seen others of those before?
Not vanilla. I've seen pastel leopard super stripes, but I've never seen vanilla, and I think that's what's making her clean and pushing out that yellow, because she is so yellow.
Yeah.
And I have to start leaving her. I handle her a lot. I play with her a lot. She's really cool. That girl, she popped out of the egg, and I was hoping it was going to be a male, but it's a female. But who's going to complain? I'm not complaining with that one.
You got enough snakes to be able to put it to work either way. So
yeah, I you change direction sometimes. I didn't start out wanting super stripes. I saw that, and then I saw some of the other ones, and I was like, that's it.
Jeremy says he wants to see spot nose added to that.
Spot nose would be. I think spot nose would be really good too. I think there's a lot that we throw in. Hidden Gene Walma is crazy too. Hidden Gene Walma is another one that I'm starting to see people pick up on it again. That in itself does a whole lot to pattern. I don't know what it would do with a super vanilla, a Hidden Gene Walma vanilla. Super vanilla. I'm not sure what some of these things would do, but I want to find out. I'm going to keep building my super vanilla army and just get some super stripes and get some of this and some of that. And a lot of things that I make are not necessarily that I'm making for some market. I make it because I want to see this up close. I want to see, what it is that these animals can do. And then, someone buys it, and in a couple of years, they're like, oh, I bred it to this. Check this out. And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that.
That's right.
That's cool. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate when someone comes up to me and they're like, hey, do you remember this snake? And I'm like, maybe, and you talk to him a little bit, and then you're like, oh, yeah.
Right.
And you're like, oh, well, look at this. This is from him, and this is his baby. This is her baby. And you start seeing that, and that pushes you forward too. That pushes me, because then I'm like, okay, what else can I make that's good ingredients for someone else to take it and whatever they're doing? Because this, as far as the vanilla stuff, this all started with one vanilla cream orange dream male.
Oh, cool.
That's it. And I just kept going and going and going and going, and then working that. And I have a lot more vanilla stuff that I'm not even gonna go get, because it's all over the map. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And as far as pied goes, I have I'm working on the vanilla pieds, and I have special het pieds, and I'm trying to get vanilla orange dream special pieds for next year. So we'll see that.
I've been seeing a lot of people doing special lately. That seems to be kind of a hot gene right now.
Special's cool as far as breeding goes. Special. Let's see. You want to come out? This is a baby. Specials can be kind of unremarkable. A little lighter, a little different. Depending on what you have or the line. But this here, that's a special. 100% het pied. And you can see she's got very, very bright color, lots of white.
Yeah.
Lots of white. And you can see the het pied, het pied tracks and all that right down the body. Her entire belly is just all the way down. Special is it's another gene that I think we need to work more. Again,
I think it's happening right now. Yeah.
This is cool. I don't see specials like this often. She's really cool. And I know that is not mostly, but I know that the het pied influence really does a number on pattern and color and stuff. And she's exceptional. I think she's exceptional. That was applied to a crystal.
And crystals, what combinations?
Crystal is Mojave and special. So out of 6 eggs, I got 5 specials and 1 Mojave.
Wow.
So I got 4 female specials, 1 male special, and 1 male Mojave, and they're all het for pied. And even the Mojave, this is the Mojave.
Yep.
It's Mojave het pied. The het pied influence is ridiculous.
Yeah, really. Yeah, look at it stringing them together there. Yeah, that is ridiculous.
This guy's really cool looking too. Very like chocolatey. Like he's so cool looking.
Nice. All right, Angel, give us the 5-minute wrap up, man. What do people need to know about you that we haven't covered, or what do you want to show off? As I always say about this time of night, I got to give my wife a kiss before she goes to sleep.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could be here all day showing you guys stuff.
Oh,
But there, I will say one thing. There's a just what, go out there, make contacts, make connections, talk to people, ask questions, don't be afraid, go to shows, talk to people. If you see me at a show, just come over and talk to me, please. I often find that, like, I'm not going to say a lot, but I've actually gotten a lot of connections, sales, whatever, from people that either don't want to talk or got ignored by another vendor, so.
yeah.
But the biggest thing is, if you're a vendor, if you're a buyer, if you're this, be friendly, talk to people. Also, if you have local places, local pet shop, support your local shop.
Yeah.
Support your local pet shop.
Yep.
They might be a little pricier. They might be, but you know what though? Our hobby wouldn't be here without that local shop. Support your local shop. Support your local rat breeder. I breed rats too. That's not a plug for me because I don't breed enough to sell, but support your local, your local people. Do the best you can. It's tough out there for a lot of people, but I bet you'll get a lot better response from a local person who really appreciates you.
Yeah, and you're going to learn a lot. I mean, every person I've met, it's funny because people mistake me for, some people that don't understand or don't see the show think I'm trying to portray this like expertise. But this is part of my education and learning from people like you. I mean, you happen to reach out to me, but yeah, part of what I do all week is just email people and go, hey, I like what you do. You want to come hang out? What can I learn from you? Come chat, come tell us about you. And that's as much of why I do this as I do that far more for that than I do for any YouTube metrics or whatever I think I'll get.
And it's helpful. It's helpful. And that if I ever got over this whole making YouTube video thing, I would, but I find that I'm more helpful one-on-one.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to just talk to camera. When I've done a couple lives and I've always had a really good way of talking back and forth to people. It's just about the connections that you have up close, but again, yeah, support your locals, support all your locals, and support USARK, please. These people are fighting for us. Please support USARK.
As a really great example, those of y'all that weren't on at the very, very beginning of the show and you're here now, and I'm going to paraphrase and maybe even put some words in Angel's mouth, but part of why he left New York was that it got locked down for constrictors. He couldn't legally do what he loved to do, and some of life happened and provided a different option for him. But that's the stuff that groups like USARK are doing for or working on.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to support them any way you can. Even if you can't support them monetarily, then share a link. There are ways. Another way to support them.
Jeremy, don't run off yet. Jeremy, don't run off for just a second. I'm just about to talk about you for 1 second. I'm sorry. So Jeremy just said, good night. I'll catch up on this one tomorrow. Your point about if you can't or don't want to, or it doesn't fit into your model that day to support them financially. Jeremy is a finish carpenter of I'll just put it at that way, of a high magnitude. He donated the money box at the Daytona show that the NARBC auctioned off. I think he said that it went for $27,000.
Incredible.
And every penny of it was donated to USARK. So anyhow, Jeremy, if you're still here, man, thank you for that. And that's a great example.
Thank you. Also, yeah, thank you. That's anything helps. And I think USARK is one of those things that when you donate, you do see where it goes. You're hearing representatives and you're seeing these things. And if you have their newsletter, you're constantly getting updates. They're working. You know, there's no way nobody's doing any work over there. I know that they're short. I know that there's not a lot of people doing it. You
Right.
know, but don't donate just to get a T-shirt. Don't donate just to say you don't. You know, like there's a reason for this, and we have to help them. You know, I donate whenever I can. Anytime something says, "Do you want to donate to US?" Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing in our hobby. You could do it little by little, and we can all do it by volume. You buy on Ship Your Reptiles, so $1 extra. You can donate every time.
Every time.
What is it? Reptile Pro, same thing. Not Rodent Pro, and what's the North Carolina reptile supply house?
Oh, is that big cheese? Is that the one?
No, they don't sell rodents. They sell supplies and heat strips.
Oh, okay.
Reptile Basics.
Reptile Basics,
Pro,
yes.
Reptile Basics. And actually,
I have a bunch of Reptile Basics racks.
Yeah, I got to plug them. They're great customer service. Even, I hate framing it this way, they sold me something that they ran out of stock on, and it wasn't like the guy called me immediately. Hey, here's option A, B, and C, or I can help you out and give you a better price when they do come in. But I'm not just going to stonewall you, or I can give you your money back. And I was like,
I've never had any issues with them.
I was like, keep my money. You don't even have to upgrade me. You're doing the right thing, and your customer service shows it. I'm not going to take advantage of you.
I just wish that they had more things in stock, because they're always running out of stock. They sell out so quickly. But
they do. They do. That's tough everywhere right now, though, for sure.
Yeah, so. I know. So but I feel like you know, if you can do it. But also take the time, read those newsletters, read those newsletters. There's information, because just because it's not your state doesn't mean it won't be later. And I'm telling you this from being from Brooklyn and being from New York and having this shit happen to me and not being able to, like, well, what do I do now? They're going to knock my door down and am I getting arrested just because I have 10 snakes in my house? Like that paranoia, that fear of something like that is not a good way to have a business. Then you feel like a criminal, and you're not.
It's not a good way to have a business or a family or a home or anything. No,
you can't live like that. You know, but again, support your locals if you can. Support USARC. Be friendly. Be mindful of people. Treat everybody with respect. You know, I like to just go Bill and Ted and just say, be excellent to each other. That's it.
Love it.
That's it. Just be excellent to each other. Be cool with people, man. That's it. If you don't like it, it's okay. It's not for you. But you know what? Just be cool with people. That's it.
Angel, thank you very, very, very much for being here.
Thank you.
I very much appreciate it.
Thanks everybody else.
You've been excellent to me. To everybody watching, there's still 14 of you out there. Thank you so much. The show has gone from barely making it an hour to me basically cutting it short at an hour and a half, which is amazing. I appreciate y'all. I will be back next week, even with the Thanksgiving week. Tuesday's no problem, so I'll be back on Tuesday nights, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And, hey, I could ramble on with the thanks. I'll just say thank you all so much. I'll see you all next time. Check out all the socials. And hang on, let me type this one more time. This is Angel Carro. And my keyboard just had to reconnect the Bluetooth. Hang on. It's Angel Carro. Check him out on Instagram and Morph Market when you get the chance. I think on Instagram it's Angel_Carro_reptiles, and search Angel on Morph Market and you will find it. I thank you all so much, Angel. Thank you for being here, man. I can't do this.
Thank you so much.
I can't do it without the audience. So cheers, everybody. I'll see you next time. Angel, stick around just 1 second here.